Speaking of Kyle Busch, I was going to text him. I was going to say, "Are you okay?" It was so weird. We were under caution, and he I felt boom. I'm like, "What the hell?" I guess he was warming his tires up and just door slammed the shit out of me.
He was hitting everything last night.
He is hitting everything.
The following is a production of Dirty Mo Media.
Hey guys, welcome to Actions Detrimental. I'm Denny Hamlin, driver the progressive Toyota from this past weekend at Richmond International Raceway. We're here on a off Sunday, right in the middle of the day, just enough to mess up Travis's drinking day. You can get after it after this.
I got a drink here.
Oh, you got one?
Yeah.
Good. Jared, you can go climb trees or whatever you want to do after this.
Have you slept yet?
I got in an hour.
What?
I went fishing 4 a.m. Well, that's not true. I went to the boat to then organize my tackle, to then rig up my lines, to then go fishing at 6.
Why didn't you go home and get some sleep first?
Well, I tried, but I laid in bed and I couldn't fall asleep because I was thinking about my fishing rods. And I was thinking about, which ones I'm going to rig with which lines. And I was just like, you know what? I need to just get there and do it.
I don't know how many open races the 11 has next year, but Bass Pro, if you're listening, this is apparently your guy.
It's agitating. I didn't get any bites this morning, though.
Shocking.
No, I didn't take that back. I didn't get any fish. I got bites, no fish. Just, man, it's just this time of the year is really hard.
Where'd you go?
Just kind of near.
You can't give out where he went.
Yeah, you can.
It's not catching anything.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go there if I was anybody else.
Southern end of our island here, the southern end of that. I'm scoping out the area. And I'm talking to people.
Were there dots on your
No.
on your radar?
There is on, there's waypoints on an SD card, but I can't get the SD card to load into the GPS quite yet. So I have to do it where I look at this map, and then I look at my GPS Garmin on the boat, and then I'm trying to okay, then I just point it there, and then I shoot.
For those who don't know, if you haven't seen Denny's social, you got a new bass boat.
I did.
You've gone all in on this fishing thing. It went from just like a little evening hobby to...
That's what he told me, Travis, when he was signing the paperwork for this bass boat. He said, well, there's in and there's all in.
You're right. I'm only one speed. All gas, no brakes. I've caught more off the dock than I have the boat, but I haven't had the boat that long.
It's early days.
It's early, and the conditions. I'm telling you, these conditions are horrible. August fishing is not easy.
How are you liking the boat?
It's great. I love the boat. Excited about that. Had it customized by those guys at Bass Pro. They did an amazing job at it. I'm learning it. I mean, it's got so much technology on it now. I mean, you can basically see, you can see your line, your bait going into the water, splashing into the water, falling right towards the fish. You can see it. And
no fish.
They're just not hungry right now.
I guess it's not really hot.
It's not the season for them to be aggressive. So right now they're just looking at it and saying, "You're not fooling me, sucker."
In a few months, though, I'm gonna be hungry and I'm gonna bite that thing.
I guess. All right. Well, that was it for that. My hoop group team's 0-2.
They stink.
You filled in this week.
I did. You should have just stuck with who you were drafted by in the first place.
Smitty?
Yeah. I don't know what that team looks like, but my gosh, your team stinks.
What about our team stinks?
It just can't score. And I understand your number one player was out. I understand that.
Yeah, we can't score. I get it. But we did score 60, where usually a winning score is 60 to 70. However, we gave up 105.
I locked down my guy.
We scored the same amount of points, Jared.
We did.
How often do you play basketball?
That's embarrassing.
Once a hoop group season. When called upon.
This guy has got energy. Wow. I mean, you're hopping around like a kangaroo.
That's all I'm good for. I scored 2 points on a real nice putback. Got the offensive board, put it back up. I don't think my feet touched the ground between the shot and the rebound. And then I had one air ball, and I cokered one layup.
You did coker a layup. Yeah. But I don't know whether they can call cokers on 6-rounders or not. Like, they're supposed to miss.
And he's a fill-in.
Yeah.
I'm just a...
You filled in for Kush.
I filled in for
He
Kush.
did more than...
He still has a sore neck from where he slept wrong. Oh, God.
He thought he... I'm sorry.
Anyway, well, episode 2 was out.
Yeah.
If you can go check that out on the Hoop Group's Instagram, it's quite entertaining. I don't know. I don't know what to say about my team. We're the average Joes. We were below average this week. I'm just going to continue. I can't shoot any worse. When you're 0 for from 3-point land, it can't get any worse. So all I can say is
to also be fair, the strength of schedule is not on your guys' side. I think the 2 teams you've played to start the season are the 2 best teams in the league.
I would agree with that, but we got to beat them at some point if we're gonna win it.
You're not going to.
Well, maybe the captain's got something up his sleeve.
In all honesty, Travis, I told Denny this yesterday or whatever day it was on the ride to the track. I was like, well, on any given day, if you got your star player back, you guys score 20 more points. Alex Presley's not going to hit 43s again, which is how they got to 100.
He hit a Hoop Group record, 12 threes.
So then at that
3
point,
of them were banked in.
Yeah, but when you're hot, you get shooter's touch.
He scored 48. I think 4 points shy of the record. I think 52. JP got 50, a 50 burger once, and then maybe Chip had 52.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had a big night one night. So, I mean, everybody scored on us, so it's not like it was that impressive.
Off-track news and related to NASCAR, the All-Star race potentially moving to Dover? Question mark?
Surely they can't be talking about replacing Dover's point race, right?
All-Star race could move to Dover. North Wilkesboro would get a points race. But yeah, you'd think
in addition to, but I mean, we had such a great fan turnout when it was 120 degrees. It was like being on the sun.
Is it realistic? That track doesn't
That
have
race.
lights. Is it realistic to put in temporary lights?
Well, I feel like it would be very Marcus Smith of him to be like, we're putting in temporary lights, and that's what the spectacle is going to be, is to have the first overnight race. I don't know. I'm just spitballing, but you just never know. I just hope there's no way they can be going from 2 races to no point races at Dover. It just, the fan turnout's been good there. I don't know why you would do that. And then you got to put up temporary lighting. I guess. I mean, surely it won't run in the middle of the day in July.
Right. You would think not.
Who knows? I mean, again, the 10th floor is just not. I don't know. Hopefully they're not thinking this one all the way through. But this is not the best choice. Dover is just not an all-star type of racetrack. It's going to be, that track is one where it needs rubber on the racetrack to then widen out, and then you can start making passes. But that doesn't happen until 30, 40 laps into a run, and the All-Star race is made up of short runs, and so there's just not going to be any passing.
Can I ask a crazy question?
Yep.
Why not just have a points race in North Wilkesboro and not have the All-Star race?
Hallelujah. Praise Jesus. I agree with you. Why are we so hung up on we need an all-star race? Every league is struggling with their all-star event currently. Ours is no exception to that. So, if anything, I think, I don't know. I'd be uneducated when it comes to what is the regular season average for a game, and then what is your all-star game? Like, I feel like our all-star is probably kind of on par with whatever a normal race would be, and maybe that's better than the league average. But man, why don't we just give the damn teams a week off? Like, they are running us through the grinder. It is a grind trying to get to the racetrack every single weekend. Like, definitely would enjoy another break, and I just don't see the need in like trying to force this personally.
Well, apparently the schedule is coming soon. That might be on our list of talking points for next week, potentially.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, some of the schedule stuff you've seen kind of, it's slowly leaking out. This is typical each year, kind of, the weeks leading up, or they're leaking this track is in, this track is out. So, they've said Iowa is in limbo. What else is one? Chicagoland, no Chicago. San Diego's in. I don't know. It's interesting how it all kind of works, but I can assure you of one thing for certain. As much as I don't know that but they talk about like collaboration. NASCAR doesn't collaborate at all with the teams, drivers, or anyone on schedule. That's their whole thing. We have nothing to do with it. No input, no nothing. So whatever it is, it's what they came up with.
Let's lead our Richmond discussion from this weekend with the truck race. Corey Heim is your winner. However, this race was dominated by Ty Majeski.
Yeah, it was. It was Ty's race to win, and I thought he was, kind of looked like the short track Ty Majeski that we had seen for the last few years. And then they kind of had that little air pressure gate. They had some valves in their tires, I think, that was leaking them down a little bit. They corrected that, lost a little bit of their luster, and then now it looked like they were back to where they were before. Corey, I thought, was like a third place truck. I thought Lane Riggs was a little bit better. But it seemed like the 11 just got better and better as the night went on. Didn't make any mistakes. Obviously, races are all about execution now. And then, unfortunately for Ty, I think it looked like there was rear end grease or some kind of oil on the racetrack. Matt Crafton goes in there, slips up, hits him, spins him out. So interesting. It actually wasn't a terrible break for him because of the pit cycle. He was in the middle of pit cycling. I think he still came out second. Like after that whole cycle, after being spun and wrecked and all that stuff, still ended up second, restarting second on the final restart. So it just looked like, if you looked at his right rear quarter panel, it was flared out quite a bit. That's usually really good on like a cup car, but those trucks got so much drag in them, so much side force anyway, that probably slowed that truck down and probably made it quite a bit tighter than it was in previous runs. And the 11 got better, so they just had nothing for him. And Heim takes his 7th win of the season.
65 playoff points.
What is amazing is that he still only got a 25% chance to win the championship.
It's not about the best driver, Denny.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear. I did see that quote. I did respond to it this morning. It sounded like it came right off like a talk.
Read it for people.
It's like a cue card talking point for the industry. The point is, he says, Mamba Smith, he's on Harvick's podcast. I think he's the chief hype officer. Says the point isn't to crown the best driver. It's to crown the best team who executed the best when the pressure was at its highest and the lights were the brightest. Well, okay. I mean, okay. Let's just throw a hypothetical. My prediction is Corey Heim probably has 10 wins by the time we get to Phoenix. Okay. Someone that is in the Final Four could likely have 1 win, 2 wins, something like that. If Corey Heim goes and gets a flat tire, just like Joey Logano did in practice, gets a flat tire, right fronts it in the first part of the race, did he not perform when the lights were brightest? No. Under that theory, he's like, no, he just didn't perform when the pressure was on. Got unlucky. We have luck involved in our sport, more so than any other sport. So that argument doesn't hold any weight, hardly at all, just simply because, and again, the ratio on the comments to likes is speaking for itself. But it's just, I don't know. I've seen that this whole, when the lights are bright, the pressure, like that seems like it's a company talking point that, PR is pushing to. This is what we're going to say when it comes to crowning a champion. But realistically, I think the fan base has kind of had enough of it. They understand it a little bit better. This weekend at Daytona, just think about it, when we talk about the format in general, nothing against Cody Ware, but he has no top 5s. I don't know if he has any top 10s this year, but Cody Ware could eliminate Alex Bowman or Tyler Reddick from the playoffs by winning Daytona. So everything that Tyler Reddick and Alex Bowman did for the first 25 races can be eliminated by what happens on a green-white checkered on the 26th race by someone in the mid-30s in points. Like, could you imagine? And we're supposed to just be cool. That sounds fair. Like, the fan base is over it.
Yeah, they've had enough, and it just doesn't make sense. It's like saying like Ohio State's season should have been over last year. Michigan beat them. Michigan gets in, and Ohio State doesn't because they performed on like at the end of the
You're right. That's a great example, actually. Right. Michigan was having a terrible season last year. They won a big game, but that doesn't just
allow you to play for a championship.
No.
I'd love to hear what Harvick has to say, who won 10 and didn't make it to the championship.
Yeah, well, I have publicly said on this podcast, I have defended Harvick to the nth that like he deserved to be in the Final Four. That race that year he won 10 races. That was ridiculous that he did not get to be in the Final Four because of circumstances. Some of it was performance during that 3 race. He had some bad luck, but like I just can't imagine a system where a 10 race guy doesn't get a chance to race for a championship and someone else does.
Also, as we talked about on last week's podcast, the week before that this is likely still the format for the next season.
I heard Chris Gabehart talking this past weekend. I don't know what he was talking about. And he's like, when you realize you're going in the wrong direction, you can either say, all right, I'm going to turn around now, or I'll go a little ways and I'll turn around and it's just a longer road back. Right?
That's such a Gabehart quote.
That's perfect.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's no wrong time to make a right decision, right? It's like if you know something's wrong with the next gen car. Now, again, that probably needs a little more time, so that's probably not fair. But like, that's something that it's going to take resources and teams. This is just a rule. These guys change rules by the week.
Yeah, the format doesn't cost anything.
Yeah. Do the right thing sooner than later would be my suggestion. Is that don't just say, well, I'll take the next exit. Well, no, you can turn around right here. No, I don't feel like turning around right now.
And now you've added 6 minutes to your commute.
The road back is a little longer, a little tougher. Hopefully you don't lose some people in the middle of that road back. We can't be, thinking everything is rosy right now. I don't think it gets any better over the next few months, folks.
Well, one thing that was rosy is we did have a good race at Richmond last night, right? I said we had a good race at Richmond last night.
Absolutely. We did. It was good to see a great short track race, some great tire fall off. Thank you, Goodyear, for bringing a tire that had over 2 to 2.5 seconds of fall off. Fantastic.
84% yes.
That's great. It deserving, very, very deserving in that. Especially, Richmond. Richmond was kind of one of the very first short tracks that was getting the, oh man, this is kind of boring type of feel, right? Yeah, Jared's nodding his head big time. And like it's good to see that, like, okay, yeah, the tires do matter, right? And I think the fans on TV and in the stands, they got to see drivers make moves and passes. And I'm actually quite surprised that Mike Ford hasn't come out with some sort of stat saying like, yeah, last night was blank, 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 best passing green flag passes. It was 29,684 passes or something like that during the course of the race, because I thought it was a good race. I can speak about this because I participate in the race. I drive the cars. I know how difficult it is to pass this race versus the previous, versus 10 years ago, versus 20 years ago. I know because I did it. This was more like generation. I don't want to overstep here. Generation 5 Cup car, where it was like after about 15, 20 laps, you could make passes on people. Like the speed started to separate enough to create the passes, where when they had the harder tire last year, I mean, you had to sit behind somebody until 30 to 40 laps, and then hell, you're going to be pitting in 15 laps. So the window of passes was really, really small last year. If you look at the lines of ranks and positions, everyone just is stagnant. And then right before the pit, there's some changing of positions, then people start pitting. This one was more like a little stagnant at the beginning, to be expected. Everyone's got a lot of grip because the tires got a lot of grip. And then all of a sudden, people start passing. And it's like, that's what we wanted to see. And so that puts it back into the driver's hand. And hopefully this is something that, and this will be our Loudon tire as well. So something to look forward to there. It seems like they're trying to make this our standard short track tire, because I believe it is the same as Martinsville, now Richmond, Loudon. I'm sure there's another in there, but we've softened up the tires. It's really a good thing.
I heard drivers complaining about how many sets you guys had. Did the number help with the race, or do you think if you had more, would it actually made it better?
I can see both sides of that argument. It did put you in a very, very tough spot. And we saw the field, all but 2 cars decided to split the first stage.
Just 16-9.
Yeah. The reason is the number showed that it was quite a bit faster, which it turned out to be. I think Priest ended up 14th, somewhere in that range at the end of the first stage. But had there been other cautions here and there, which there was, they were able to use those tires, make it back up. Turns out Priest's car wasn't very good. So there was a time in stage 2, maybe 3, when were we getting all those bursts of yellows? I feel like that was, who cares? It doesn't matter when it is. Everyone had to stay out because of, the tire allotment. I do think one more set would be the right number, just simply because then it would allow the field to have more options. Obviously, you would like to see the ability for them to pit once in stage 1, the option to pit twice or 3 times in the second stage, and then the option to pit twice or 3 times in the third stage. What that would do is create varying strategies, and you would see, tons of passes, simply because I think the field, 3/4 would be on one strategy, 1/4 would probably be on the other, and trying to figure out which is the right one. But it would just create more passing, more opportunities for strategy to be a factor in the race, where everyone was kind of on the same tires all night, so it really didn't play a factor.
Is it possible to bottle up the ingredients from last night and just like push them away, and then for the foreseeable future, just bring it back out, and that we can just check off Richmond every year as a good race. You want to watch this one, you want to attend this one.
Yeah, that's what we hope. I mean, man, it broke my heart that they lost one of their dates. It was a good crowd turnout. It's so interesting because Richmond is always one of our top 5 cities that people watch us. It's one of the higher rated cities. Like it's always like Greensboro, Richmond, Indy, something like that is our top 5. But they didn't come to the track. The track president there, she's doing a good job of kind of getting the fan sentiment back. And certainly it seems as though, people are, responding to the one date, right? I mean, let's be honest, it doesn't matter what sporting event you go to. It costs money to go there. And when you have the option, to have multiple times to go, what happens is usually you skip the first, I'll go get the next one. And then something comes up in the next one, you don't end up going at all. So, as a sports person, for me, I know when something comes into town once, that is my opportunity. Block it off. Don't plan anything else because I don't have another option, right? So I think that there's something to that, and it seems like the tracks with one date, it is it's working out for them. I think it's another example that we have too many races in our schedule. We're just oversaturated the market. It's just, we're trying to come up with new tracks and things like that, but it's just, I am certain of a framework of a sanctioning body / league. And it's like, how would it be run? How many races would there be? And it's certainly not 36, or 38 we're actually racing in. So I just think that there's something to making the people want it instead of just always giving it to them whenever they want it.
Hey, this is Dale Jr., and for the latest Actions Detrimental gear, go to shop.dirtymomedia.com. We've got plenty of options for you. We're adding new stuff all the time. That's shop.dirtymomedia.com.
Back to the tires. Joey Logano used the 51's qualifying scuffs. Should that be allowed where teams can go to another team and say, hey, can you buy your tires off of you?
I don't have an opinion on that one way or another. But my question is, if the rule is you must make a qualifying attempt on a set of tires if you transfer. So did the 51 just run a set short?
Yeah, they just ran a set short for the race. Well, they didn't have their qualifying tires.
Oh, I wonder how much Penske paid them for that. I mean, they obviously paid them.
Yeah.
Rick Ware obviously took it. So I guess there's a rule that you do have to make a qualifying attempt if you choose to transfer over. So if you what that does is it keeps you from
having an extra set of fresh.
Correct. We've seen in the Xfinity series and other series over time. This is years ago when people knew that they had to start in the back anyway. They would just not even make a run, actually have fresher tires and drive straight to the front because people would start on their qualifying tires. Now, we don't start on our qualifying tires anymore, but it keeps them from starting in the back being an advantage. So it sounds like the 22 wanted that, the same set of tires as everyone else. So he had to buy the tires off the 51. And then the 51 just, hey, sorry, here's a check, and you're going to have to be one set short.
Yeah.
But do I have a problem with it? I don't know. I mean, as long as there's someone in the field willing to sell it, I don't think it's, certainly the issue that they had in practice, it didn't appear that it was their fault. They had a flat tire. It was bad luck, just ran over something. Should they have been penalized by having one less set? They had to start in the rear anyway. Should they had to start with one less set of tires? I don't think so. So I think it's probably the most fair way to do it.
Up until this big wreck that you were caught up in, despite many mistakes on pit road, the 11 car was able to go to the back and come forward. Go to the back, come forward.
Pit road was terrible, and I'm including myself on that.
Where did you speed, before or after the pit stop?
Right at Alex Bowman's pit stall.
Was that before you got to your stall or after?
After.
Were you
I was too low. I cut the radius slightly too short.
were you rushing knowing that you had a slow pit stop?
Maybe. But I think, yeah, I just, there's these pit roads have a radius, right? Anyone that has a curve to it. So when we do our pit road roll before the race, if you see us a lap before we go green to start the race, you'll all see us go down pit road. Well, what we're doing then is calibrating. Are the lights that are on our dash correct for running pit road speed? And then the teams kind of get your numbers to see, okay, are you under the speed limit or not? Where do they have room to either go faster, need to slow down? So it's a way for us to calibrate. When we typically do that, we're to the far right, so out near at the end of pit wall. Well, what happened more than likely was that I left my pit stall, didn't go all the way out to the right. When you cut the inside of the track a little shorter, your distance is shorter. So even if you run the same amount of lights and RPMs, your speed will show faster. So 45 miles per hour on the very outside versus 45 miles per hour on the very inside, while you're still under the speed limit, it changes the time and it will register a faster mile per hour the lower you are.
When you know you have a slow pit stop, do you lose focus for a brief second?
I mean, I like to think not, but it's very possible. It's very possible. I certainly was so frustrated because I knew that I knew right off the bat we had a race-winning car. Usually I know within about 5 laps in the race, is it doing the things I need? I noticed very quickly that, again, I was at the time racing around guys that I didn't end up being the best on that night. But it doesn't matter to me. It's about the feel for me. It's not about times. It's not about positioning or anything. And I still thought we were going to be fine. And then we got I don't know if you could see from the TV. Could you see the damage that we had? I
mean, you could see yourself in the wreck.
You couldn't see the damage though.
Oh, it was
on the
bad.
car.
No, yeah, it was bad. It popped. It jacked the whole front end up. It center punched the nose right at the radiator inlet. So it messed up all kinds of things. Lots and lots of things.
Watching that on TV when your team initially came over the radio after, I feel like the sentiment I got was oh, it's not that bad, but it's it looked bad. Yeah,
I thought it still had decent capability, but we had lost our edge. No doubt about it. We became pedestrian at that point. We were just another car. Now, again, I can get around the place, so I feel like I can make up a little bit. But, I mean, we were just kind of 10th place at that point, which where we ended up. So, it was unfortunate, man. We had a rough day on pit road, no doubt about it. Each stop, it was something different, really, every time. And so you'll have that, but this is one I thought that if we can control the race, we would freaking lead.
I think you even said on the radio we easily could have been leading 300 laps.
Yeah, it had everything that it needed. My car had everything it needed to dominate the race, but one mistake at the very beginning, and you'll just never to be seen again. But I was actually happy about how well I was able to move forward. Again, testament to the tires and drop off and all that stuff. I was like, damn, this isn't over. I got to 12th, 13th pretty quickly, and then I got in the wreck, and I was like, so just darn it, man. I hate letting these types of weekends get away. Ugh, there's not so many left.
Austin Dillon doesn't let this one get away. He's your winner. Redemption from last year.
Yeah, I mean, well-earned victory there by Austin and RCR and his whole team. Man, I mean, it was redemption in every single way. I just don't know how else to put it other than, you know, he did it the right way. No controversy. They were trying to run him down at the end, just couldn't quite get there. I saw the 48 and their team. They were kind of hemming and hawing about, you know, some people holding them up. But, you know, I guess one of the cars that was holding him up was the guy that he wrecked at Nashville. So, I mean, that's part of the deposits and withdrawals that we talk about all the time, that like usually when you get into someone and it makes a bad day for them, it's not a free incident. Like it usually comes back sometime, you know, it's that inopportune time. Remember when I was talking about Carson? Like, man, you're really going to be in chance to win a race, and someone that you got into is going to say, nope, you're not, I'm not going to let you win today.
Who are we referring to?
Who was it? The 4.
Oh, Gregson.
Yeah.
And so, you know, whether it was intentional or not, it's just, you know, they felt like it was, but then there were some other Chevys. They didn't like how the Chevys were driving. I mean,
Poor Hendrick just doesn't get any support.
Chevys, in case you didn't see Martinsville last year, I think, I don't think they have an issue with helping each other out.
And also, like, SVG was running that high line all night.
Yeah.
And Jesse Love, they got on the radio and said, don't wreck. I don't blame him. Your car's leading, and the last thing you want is a wreck and waste money and then you lose the race.
Yeah.
And he's not a full-time Cup driver.
Mm-hmm. It would have been interesting, but still, it's, you know, you would, either way, you would have had, you know, kind of around, well, Austin wasn't a bubble driver. He was 26th or 27th in points or something going into this weekend. You would have had someone unexpected. Either way, you would have had someone unexpected winning this race. I don't think that anyone pencils in Alex Bowman as someone that's going to go win Richmond, even though he has won Richmond. He beat me on a green-white checkered a few years ago. I thought it was a great performance by the 3 team. They executed well. They picked up right where they left off. Like, even in practice, I thought they were, you know, still strong. And so, they took whatever setup they had last year and they just refined it a little bit and made it a little bit better and got another W.
Is it that easy? You can just take a setup that worked last year and plug it into the car?
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot of development. I talked about it in the media center a little bit that, there's just not this between last year and this year. There hasn't been really any significant rule changes to the car itself. And so if you ended up hitting on something last year, that's probably going to be your baseline, and you're going to tweak small things from that point. So, yeah.
Speaking of SVG, his best career finish on an oval, ties his best career finish on oval, 14th. But he credited you with, studying you and your habits around this track. But it seemed like he was doing his own thing out there.
He was. That's cool to see that, usually when you're trying to learn, you just kind of, I just going to run behind everyone else and kind of figure this thing out. And he figured out pretty quickly that I'm just going to go somewhere else. So it's very innovative of him. I hadn't seen that line around that racetrack in quite some time. I was actually quite paranoid of it chewing up the tires. Like, usually when you run on cool asphalt, clean asphalt like that, it will chew up the tires quicker than what it will be if you run down on the bottom. But he was making it work well.
How much would it help the racing if other teams didn't have access to SMT?
It certainly would create a disparity of speed between the drivers. No doubt about it. I thought for the longest time I had a great advantage at Martinsville, Richmond, those tracks, and that kind of went away. But I also used it to my advantage as well. Like, I wasn't as good on 1.5 until I got to study my teammate Kyle Busch's data. Speaking of Kyle Busch, I was going to text him. I was going to say, are you okay? It was so weird. We were under caution, and I felt boom. I'm like, what the hell? I guess he was warming his tires up and just door slammed the shit out of me.
He was hitting everything last night.
He is hitting everything. He ran into us under caution. It's unintentional, obviously. And then down the backstretch, we didn't really talk about the big wreck, but I don't know.
Text him right now. Say, are you okay? And see, we got 15 minutes
I
left.
wanted to be genuine about it. Like, hey, bud, how you doing? Doing okay? He just wiped out a few cars, and then the 9 was coming by, and he clipped him on the way out. I don't know, man. It's tough to say. It's just it just doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't look right.
I'm pretty sure in his audio, like he isn't told about the 9 until like the last second, and so
you can't. I mean, at that point, he's just getting clear of the mayhem, and then it looked like Chase was side by side with someone else. He couldn't go any lower, and the 8 just came down the track and just clipped him.
Just watching the onboard camera, the wreck is over.
It was over. It was over, no doubt. Until it wasn't. I don't know. What were we talking about?
SMT.
SMT
like if
data.
Just the SMT. Yeah. So I got better by, following Kyle Busch's.
I'm okay.
He made me.
teammate.
He made me better on the 1.5 miles. I made him better on the short tracks. I think I'm confident of that.
I'm okay with the teammate sharing, but I think everyone being able to see everybody's.
Yeah, I don't know. How do you put that genie back in the bottle?
So if just hypothetically, if
Shut it off, I guess.
You just don't share.
if the range between the best driver and the worst driver is here, right, without SMT data, and then you include SMT data,
Okay.
how much closer does it bring
Hold
you?
your hands out. All right, so that's from best to worst with no SMT.
Yep.
Okay, bring them in slightly. A little more. Right there. Right about there. Right about there. So it doesn't do that, but you got to be watching on YouTube, folks, if you want to see what we're talking about. It takes probably 25% of the gap away. I would
what's the
estimate.
benefit?
Maybe,
What's the pro of SMT?
I don't know.
The SVG can get better on an oval by watching you, but what does that do for the fan?
It doesn't do anything for the fan. I'm not sure.
I mean, the fan can't see it. It's just the SMT to the fan is invisible.
Right. It seems like it's just making
It's called OTD now. NASCAR took it over. They're the ones getting paid for it.
Well, like
now.
Twitter,
data?
I'm still calling it SMT.
Yeah. I think they kicked SMT the curb.
But yeah, the fans, it only helps the drivers.
I guess it's a double-edged sword. I mean, I remember when we were talking about it, and they brought it to us and said, this is what we're thinking about doing. It was a thing with the top drivers about you're going to give away my proprietary information. Like, that's the only stuff that should be shared within our team. Like, you shouldn't be giving out, all my data to other teams. That doesn't seem right, but I don't know.
Some other notes from last night. William Byron locks up the regular season championship thanks to that Chase Elliott wreck. He is your regular season champion. 15 extra bonus points.
Yeah, deserving too. I mean, he's just... I think about each weekend, like who's going to be the most consistent Hendrick car, and he's the guy, right? I mean, I get... When I say consistent, I mean... Not necessarily on average finish. Who's consistently going to be in the top 5 speed each and every week, right?
They're just clean every week.
Yeah. Well, they had a rough stretch for about a month and a half to 2 months. Like, they're just now kind of getting back on the horse. But I just felt like, generally speaking, it's, the sample size is right. You crowned your correct regular season champion, and that the 24 game got off to an amazing hot start, was not only consistent but fast. They didn't win as many races as others, but they just were always in the top 5, top 3. And so, me and Larson went through a time stubbing our toes. Chase made his run at the regular season by just knocking down I think a win or so, a win or two. He has had 1 win or 2.
Byron, 2.
No,
Elliott 1.
one. He's got that one win, but he was not knocking the door more consistently. And so it tightened everything up. And now it's no longer tight for the lead. It's tight for second. Look, I could leave Daytona second or sixth in points, and it's only 23 points difference. And so you know, we're battling for 10 bonus points. So second gets 10, but third gets 8, 7, 6, 5. So this is a 5-point swing. It's like another win, whether you're on the high end or the bad end of this.
That's the thing I didn't like is there was no. They didn't present him the trophy. Like, we need to celebrate this regular season championship.
I don't know that they expected him.
You can't bring the trophy there.
I don't. That's the 10th story.
I mean, the NHL carries the Stanley Cup around. If it's available to be won, it's at the race. It's at the game. Like,
I mean, they'll do all this next week.
Yeah, they'll do it next week.
well, I want it now.
You're not wrong. I think when you win it, you should be given it at that moment. I don't disagree that, like, if it comes next week, like, he's already celebrated that, right? Like, internally, you know, and what a weight off of his shoulders for this weekend. Man, he gets to race free. Like, there's where even me, I'm in the middle of this and I'm like, I gotta stay close to this guy. I don't want to, you know.
Yeah, how do you juggle this at Daytona of all places?
I don't know. It's I don't have a great answer for that. I don't know. I guess I just need to go try to win the race and do whatever I can to win, because that means as much as anything. And then wherever the chips fall, they fall. But let's just get this playoff underway.
I feel like it's too tight with too many drivers for you to try to actually, like, worry about that.
Yeah,
you just have to go out and race.
I think you're right on that. You got to just let it flow. Let it flow naturally.
And I mean, you came close to winning the first race.
Daytona?
Yeah.
I know. Half a lap. Son of a gun.
Another point battle is down at the bubble. While Reddick is plus 89 and Bowman is plus 60 to the cut line. If there's a surprise winner and Reddick was to get in a wreck, or there's still an opportunity here for Bowman.
There's a hypothetical that if someone with 0 top 5s and 0 top 10s could win a race and eliminate Tyler Reddick or Alex Bowman.
Yeah. I don't think that's a very crazy hypothetical.
Reddick is 7th in points. Bowman is 9th in points.
It's a 50% chance, really.
Yeah, we knew, just a few years ago, with all the winners that we ended up having, was it Martin Truex that missed the playoffs, being like 3rd in points? Like, holy cow. This is how you know you got to turn around sooner than later.
So if you're Reddick, do you have a strategy for this race? Are you trying to hang out towards the rear and avoid these wrecks, and hopefully Bowman doesn't get a bunch of stage points?
I don't know what the strategy is. I think the strategy is just you got to think if he can get, he's 29. If he can somehow force Bowman to get at least 40, that's going to be really hard to do. So he would need 15 to 11 to that's a very moderate finish. That's mid-20s. That's essentially finishing the race.
What would
you know what I mean? That's just if you I think if you finish, he gets in.
What will cause you to lose more sleep? You maybe falling from 3rd or 2nd in the points to finishing 6th after Daytona, or Reddick not making the playoffs?
Reddick not making the playoffs. Just because I care about wins. That whatever happens this playoff, it happens. It's whatever. I want wins. I want at least a couple more before the year's over with. That's my only personal goals for the end of the year.
What's going on with this 45? They won the regular season last year, and now, I mean, granted, they're 5th in points, so it's not as bad when you put it in that way, but 0 wins. I don't think they've really had a complete race.
Yeah, just haven't put it together. The speed's been okay. I don't think the speed's been as good as what it was last year. Now, company wide, I don't know. You've got, Bubba's definitely performing better than he was last year. So did the cars get better or did Bubba get better? Riley, it's too hard to tell because of the inexperience.
Someone asked, like, did adding a third car, did it pull resources away?
No, it did not. It added resources.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. It's just it seems like a 45 thing. I don't know that it's a company thing because the 23 is certainly having another career year. Like every year is a new bar.
Yeah, picked up an additional playoff point last night too, which he has 8 now, which is obviously more than he's ever entered the playoffs with.
Yep.
What else we got from Richmond? It was cool to see. I don't know if this is the case every year since you've been in the Cup Series, but I feel like your fanfare at Richmond continues to go like this.
Yeah, I went to the Toyota. What do they call that?
Stage appearance? Toyota stage appearance?
Yeah, but they call that area something.
Oh, I don't know.
We don't know. Anyway, Toyota has a big activation outside of
The Midway.
Yeah, I know, but they call it. Remember, at Daytona they call the inside there the Toyota injector. But I don't know. They call that something. It was yes, tons of 11 gear. I loved seeing it, and they were rowdy. Really happy to see that. Love that out of my Virginia people.
Jameson's first trip back home.
It had all my brothers and sisters there. They got to, some of them got to meet him for the first time. That was awesome. Most of them still live in Virginia. One sister lives here. So yeah, it was a good, I wish I had a better result. I actually planned on winning that race. I felt it from when I woke up on Saturday.
Is this one going to eat at you all day, or like being it was a Saturday night race?
I can let it go much easier than I used to be able to let it go. Just because clock's going. We've got another race coming up. You got to prepare for that one.
Is this like, all right, maybe we got all our ups out of the way in one race?
I hope so.
My God,
this is the most. This is where certainly execution is going to really matter is in the playoffs, and with us having however many playoff points that we're going to end up with, just you can't have a horrendous round one. You got to really start ramping up your performance in round 2 and so on and so forth.
What do you mean you planned on winning it?
I just felt I felt in practice car did what I needed it to do. I looked at, who's my competition? Where are they starting? Well, that means they're probably going to have to pass me at some point, and I just didn't think that they were. Not as long as everything was straight up, and I don't know. I have feelings on certain days where it's like, my mom always asks me, how's your car? What do I always say? I say, not bad.
You keep it so close to that. You keep it so close to the chest.
But what did I say? You didn't hear me. I said, it's good.
It's good. Right. But your car's always
no.
good.
There's a difference in not bad and good.
And haven't you said, like, if you're good in practice and you're good in qualifying, like,
it's probably a good sign.
Yeah.
It's probably a good sign. Because usually we're not a practice team, for sure.
So if you get asked that question going forward,
if you hear me say my car is good, it's definitely good.
All right, Travis.
If I say not bad, it's I'll let you know. I'll let you know after the first 5 to 10 laps.
I had a good feeling that I didn't even ask you because I was like, he was good in practice, good in qualifying. I don't need to ask him because I thought about it. I was like, how's the car? I was like, nope, we're not even going to put it out there. Like,
I went back and looked at all your tweets. You're funny, Trav. I love it. You do kind of. I appreciate it because it lets me know where your head's at, where your emotions are at during the race.
Yeah,
I like it.
Also, like, PSA to any of the new followers. Since
where can they follow you?
At Travis Rockhold.
No, that's not right. At T Rockhold.
Oh, at T Rockhold.
You don't even know your name?
On Twitter, it's Travis Rockhold.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of his Instagram.
But like any of the new followers that have joined since the season started that weren't around for college football, they think that this race stuff is bad.
They're going to have to mute you in 2 weeks.
You have to buckle in or mute.
Travis lives and dies by every play on the field.
People think I'm critical of the 11 team. No way. Nowhere close.
Wasn't it Nashville where he said, I'm going to go have a talk
I did have a talk with Gabe Hart.
What was it about?
Putting gas in the car.
Oh, he's like, can we put some fucking gas in the car? Stop running my boy out.
Tweet from last night. Hey, Gail, do some motivation.
Oh, it was get this 11 team into gear or something like that.
We need to wake up.
We got to wake up. We got to wake up. It was something different every time.
Can't be having this. Not come playoff time. Get it out of the way now.
It wasn't all on them because I was going to have to go to the backup. It appeared I was going to have to go back anyway because I sped. But, again, we talk about was it in my psyche that, I just had a 18-second pit stop and, I'm trying to get everything I can everywhere else and I sped, but I don't know. That's on me. I didn't think I played the play any different because of the results of the pit stop.
I got a review here from Ryan71517. Am I a fan of Denny the driver? Absolutely not. Am I a fan of Denny the podcaster? Yes. This show has become required listening if you want to keep up with the current happenings in the NASCAR world. Good job, Denny. You've made me half a fan here and begrudgingly so.
Well, I appreciate that. Jared, I saw you sign some autographs.
A lot.
You did. I know. I a lot of the hats that I got at the Toyota area had your signature on it first.
Have you worked on your signature, Jared?
No, frankly, do you ever sign something like struggle to sign it? It just seems like you guys, all the drivers, like you have such a flow to signing an autograph. Like I'll get like a t-shirt and like it won't come off right away and then the signature's.
Can I give a suggestion to fans? I know it's probably to you makes the most sense and you think it's the easiest. Shirts are by far the hardest thing for us to sign because it moves.
It pulls and
the pen tip, it sticks on it. And then next thing you know, the signature gets all screwed up. Now, some of these guys' signatures is so horrible, it really wouldn't matter. But I try to make mine somewhat legible. And it really kind of depends on the time. Like, there's a Denny Hamlin autograph session signature, and then there's one where one more. Yeah. Where it's like I take out one of the N's and the M out of Hamlin. Like I take out a letter or two from the full name when I'm signing, and so it's just shirts are hard, especially if they're on. No. On's easier than off.
You got to have like something behind it, right?
Yeah, but then people try to put the cardboard behind it, and it just pulls. I'm telling you, the tip just doesn't. If you want a good autograph, don't do it on a T-shirt. A hat or a card is you're gonna get the best signature out of me with a card. Second best signature will come on a hat. Third will come on a shirt.
Yeah, you signed two people's arms this weekend, so.
Yeah, the one lady said
tattoos.
She said she's getting a tattoo, and what sucked is when I went to do the D, I missed. Did you see me trying to fill it back in?
Mm-hmm. Dale talked about that last week about signing skin.
Yeah, what did he say?
How it's hard because it's like it's either sweaty or whatever, and he's like people want signatures. He's like I'd rather sign like a piece of paper and then you take that to get it, put on you and then tattooed. If you're going to get it tattooed.
Yeah. Because that's how they essentially kind of do tattoos anyway, right? They just kind of create
a stencil kind of.
Yeah.
But it's cooler if you get your arm signed and then you go take it to the tattoo artist.
Yeah, because I guess they say if they put it on, like they don't want it to be perfect. They want it to be however you did it.
Right. Yeah. So in 5 years from now, when someone's like, oh, why is that D and that name on your arm messed up? It's like, oh, well, Denny screwed up the autograph when he signed my arm. Yeah. And now I'm stuck. I was
sweaty and he tried to fill in the rest of his D.
And then there's a story that it was at this race and if you won and
if you're getting your signature tattooed on you, there's got to be a story behind it.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well, thanks for all the Richmond fans. Thanks for everyone for tuning in this week, and we'll see you at the Daytona.